Yo, what up guys? Today I want to showcase you my bunny builds. We got one for high density of AI, where it's just a lot of AI so you can kill them as fast as possible. Almost right when they spawn they just die. Then we got a 3-hit nuke build, so the high voltage build, which is just for Morpheus materials missions or like any missions that you want to rush through, or like low density of AI. And we got one bossing build that we will go through today as well. The first build we will go through is the 3-hit nuke build, the high voltage build. Keep in mind, high voltage is an ultimate bunny exclusive. You can't use this on a regular bunny, you can only use this on ultimate bunny. So what high voltage does for us, instead of having the circle around bunny, you have 3 light emission that attack 3 targets at a time. And you get a whole lot of range and damage increase from this mod, and also duration. Even though it doesn't say it in the description, you get a whole lot of duration from it, which helps us getting 100% uptime at our V and saving a lot of modules that we would otherwise have to use. So in the melee slot I'm using long distance maneuvering because it's really good. You can swing around enemies just to get more damage in. I would recommend this mod, but you don't have to use it. It's not crazy important. Then we got here maximize conversation to reduce our skill cost, just to have an easier time running around with our C without running out of MP. MP collector, just to sustain our MP even better while killing stuff. We get MP back. Focus on electric, just to get more damage and skill cooldown to keep 100% uptime with our V. Skill expansion, just to have more range, that you can just run through rooms and nuke everything. Skill critical hit rate, just to help us with tougher enemies and mini bosses out to kill them even faster. Maximize range, once again, just to have more range. Spear and shield, just to be a little bit more tanky, get that extra skill power. I didn't took the big defense mod because I don't think it's needed. You will be nuking everything anyway and will like almost never really get attacked at all. And we also get some skill power from it, so we have some more damage. Singular specialist to get even more damage on our V. Increased HP just to be once again more tanky. Also max HP is like one of the main modules you should be running almost on every Descendant. And emergency measures, just to get more crit rate and crit damage to help us even more out with tougher enemies or bosses. And then I can show you also real quick the damage from this build you will be doing. Keep in mind, this is laboratory. Those AIs are level 1 right now, so it will do a little bit more damage. This is also what I meant with the grappling hook. You can swing around like this and get a whole lot of more damage in on AI. And yeah, I can also show you real quick the MP. You will be having also like absolutely no problems with your MP. Like, look at that MP bar, it's like barely moving. You can run around for so long through missions, rush through missions, kill everything, nuke everything. Just keep in mind, you will be still killing stuff and get MP back while killing stuff. You will be picking up every now and then an energy orb, so you will be always at 100% MP almost. Never have any problems with that. But the most important part for having no MP problems are the external components. But first we go through the reactor. So as the reactor, we got a tingling singularity reactor with thunder cage mounting, because I'm obviously using a thunder cage to get that 160% skill power. Then we got electric and singular on the reactor. As additional stats we got also electric and singular, just to boost the damage of our V just even way more. External components, we got the 2-piece set of annihilation and a 2-piece set of supernova. So why the annihilation set? We get skill duration from the 2-piece set of the annihilation set, which makes that we can use singular specialist right here and get more damage. Otherwise we would have to use focus on singular. If you don't want to run the same components that I'm running, you can just put focus on singular on here and you will have 100% uptime on your V. If you run the same components that I'm running, you can just leave this in here and you'll be fine. You get more damage than focus on singular, and you get the cooldown that you need for the 100% uptime on your V from those 2-piece set here, from the annihilation set. So on the auxiliary, you preferably want max HP and MP recovery out of combat. HP is really important, so MP recovery out of combat is really nice if you ever run out of MP and you're out of combat, you will be full MP in a quarter of a second again. It's not really needed, so if you don't want to farm that much till you get those 2 rolls, you will be completely fine with just having max HP on it. And on the sensor is the most important part about the components. You 100% want those 2 rolls on it, max MP and MP recovery in combat, which helps you sustain like almost all your MP while you're running around. If you don't want to farm as much to get those 2 rolls, you can just get max MP. I tested it a little bit, or just max MP will also be completely fine for the beginning. And as the memory and the processor, so the Supernova set, we get for the 2-piece set also electric skill power modifier, which gives us some extra damage. And on the memory, you preferably want defense and MP recovery modifier. MP recovery modifier basically makes that all the energy you get from like anywhere gets like modified. So picking up energy orbs, MP recovery out of combat, in combat, from MP collector, everything. Everything gets increased by that. So preferably you want probably MP recovery modifier on this. But if you can, both rolls, defense and MP recovery modifier. But most important is the MP recovery modifier. On the processor, the stats don't really matter that much here, the 2 rolls you can get, because like almost everything it can roll on the processor is, to be honest, almost garbage. Like there's nothing really good. I just took item acquisition distance. It helps me like picking up loot, energy orbs if I run ever out of energy, or health orbs if I need some health. Just the easier time. I can just run by it, I don't have to run through it, and it gets picked up. Then max shield is just like having a little bit more of max HP. So I just took that. And that's already it. That's already the build. So I will be going to the next build in a second. Alright, the next build I'm gonna showcase you is the high density build, which I use for high density of AI. Because you have the circle here, you can just kill stuff like way easier. And with the 3-hit nuke build, the high voltage build, you can only hit 3 targets at a time. So the high density just makes the time to kill like way faster if there's a lot of AI. So I'm using superconductor right now. It reduces the ATK of enemies, which helps you staying easier alive. So you get less damage from them. You don't really need this. I just put it in because I had space for it. But you don't really need it if you don't want to spend your Kaipan gold on it to upgrade it. But it's not bad. Then we got here once again the melee slot, long distance maneuvering to swing around, get some extra damage in. Frugal mindset for the skill cost reduction and skill effect range. And MP collector to sustain our MP again. Focus on electric to get more damage. Skill cooldown to keep 100% uptime with our V. Maximize range. We also got skill effect range right here. So we have a 21 meter radius. That's the max you can get on the circle. And we got emergency measures for skill critical hit rate and skill crit damage to help us out again with tougher enemies like elites and stuff. And mini bosses or something like that. Singular specialist to get more damage. And we got increased HP just to be a little bit more tanky. Skill insight just to get more skill crit hit rate against tougher enemies again. And I'm using basically the same reactor right here that I'm using in the high voltage build. Nothing really changed about the reactor. And it's also exactly the same components that I'm using in the high voltage build, so I will not go through them again. And once again, one thing I gotta say, if you don't want to use the same components that I'm using, since you get the ration from the set, which makes that you have 100% uptime right here on your V, you get because of that duration 100% uptime. If you don't want to use the same set that I'm using, you just put here again, focus on singular in. You have a little bit less damage from that, but because of focus of singular, you will have 100% uptime again. But if you use the same components that I'm using, you will be completely fine. You don't have to change anything. And now I'll show you here real quick the high density AI build. Just activate your C, and then you activate your V. Everything dies immediately. That spawns. If you wonder where this mission is that I'm doing right now, with the whole lot of AI, it's in White Knight Gulch. You just teleport to this outpost and there's this mission right here. And I activate those 4 towers right here real quick.
I need confirmation. I'll need a variety of samples. Thanks for doing this.
And yeah, this build is like really good. It has a really high time to kill everything if there's a whole lot of AI. That's why I rather use this over high voltage. How you can see, I activate my V and everything dies almost immediately, how you can see. As soon as it spawns. With high voltage you would have a lower time to kill since it only targets 3 targets at a time. Here again, everything dies immediately around me. Absolutely no problems, which is really good against high density of AI. So I could just recommend using this build for high density of AI, but you will also be completely fine just using high voltage. You will just have a little bit lower time to kill for everything, but you will also be completely fine with it. So I will probably be hopping to the next build here in a second. Right, and the next and last build we will be going through is the bossing build. I'm using here high voltage again. I explained it already before, so I will not do that again. Melee slot also again, the same that I had before. We got Frugal Mindset, which reduces our skill cost and skill effect range, and we get a little bit of skill effect range. Dangerous Ambush, which is really good and really important. When the boss is not targeting you, you get 25% more skill power. And whenever the boss is stunned and you hit him, you get 50% more skill power, which is a lot of damage. Then you got Focus on Electric here, just to get electric skill power and skill cooldown. Skill Expansion, to have a little bit of range. We don't have Maximize Range in this build, because we don't need that much range for bossing. And we got Skill Critical Hit Damage, just to have a lot of crit damage against the boss. Singular Specialist, just to get even more damage with our V. Spear and Shield, to get at least some defense. And skill power, so we do more damage with our V. Then we got increased HP, just to be a little bit more tanky. I got right now Polygenic Antibody right here, because I can't really fit anything else because of the socket types. And here I got Emergency Measures, just to get even more skill critical hit rate and skill crit damage. So one thing I gotta say real quick, they announced already they're gonna add multi-sockets, so you can have multiple socket types in the same slot. So you could have here, for example, right now, you can have this symbol in here, and you can have this symbol in here at the same time. So you can use in the other build, for example, here Singular Specialist, and here you could use a Polygenic Antibody. As soon as they changed it, I would highly recommend to switch Polygenic Antibody out for Frontlines and Frugal Mindset out for Skill and Sight. That will be the only 2 things I would be changing about this build as soon as they change the sockets. And in the 3 and nuke build nothing really will change, and in the high density probably also nothing. So they stay the same, only the bossing build changes. And that would be a lot of damage as soon as they change that, if you just put Frontlines and Skill Insight in here. And yeah, the components and reactor is the same one I'm using in the other builds. If you can, you probably want to get a reactor with singular and Colossus damage, or electric and Colossus damage. I couldn't get my hand onto one yet, but you could definitely use that if you have one like that for the mounting for your weapon. But you will also be completely fine just using your regular reactor, which I'm using right now. Then what I want to do real quick, I gotta switch real quick my preset to the bossing build, so my components change. I'm using the Slayer components right here, because I don't really care about the MP cost that increases from it, because I'm anyway not running a whole lot around while bossing. So I get general round capacity and rounds per magazine, so it helps also out my gun when I'm shooting the boss. And I get a lot of skill power from it, 26.1% skill power, that's a lot of damage more. So I'm using the Slayer set, I just got tanky stats everywhere, max HP fire resistance here, max MP and MP recovery in combat, just to have a little bit more MP. And defense and electric right here, just to be a little bit more tanky again. And here also, toxin resistance and max shield. On the sensor, I will probably change it to max MP and chill resistance, if I can get my hand on one. So those are the components. And If you want to see the damage real quick, I can show you also here real quick the damage. Let me take my Thunder Cage out. This is the damage with the boss build. There, we hit for like 1.2 million those AIs here. It will be even crazier as soon as they change the like multi-socket stuff that they announced already. So you can put the other 2 crit mods here in, like I said already. And it will be even better. But right now it cannot be better in this build. Otherwise the other 2 builds would be really bad. So this is the boss build. And then I will also go through my Thunder Cage here in a second. The last thing, I'm gonna show you my weapon, my Thunder Cage. So I got Firearm Attack, Firearm Crit Damage and Firearm Critical Hit Rate on it. Also Colossus. Those are in my opinion the best rolls you can get on it. So you should try to get those. You don't really need them in Legendary, but it would be nice to get them in Legendary. So the modules I'm using on this is Action and Reaction. We get a lot of firearm attack from it, but we get plus recall, then rifling reinforcement just to get even more firearm ATK. I'm using fire rate concentration, which probably a lot of people think is weird, because fire rate up right now is just way better. But fire rate up is also bugged right now, that's the only reason I think it's better. You get instead of 25%, like I think it's like 30% fire rate, that's why it's so good right now. But I'm using already the other one, because I think this will be better on most weapons as with high crit stuff, as soon as this mod gets fixed. So I'm using fire rate concentration, but you should really use this mod. I don't know why I'm using this, it's just a me thing, I guess. And then I'm using better insight, firearm critical hit rate. So to get our crit up, since the weapon got a high base crit rate. Real life fighter, so we do a lot more damage to weak points. You get minus accuracy from it, but that shouldn't be a problem. But you get up to 10 stacks, so you can get up to 100% firearm attack if you're shooting weak points. Better concentration, just to get even more firearm critical hit damage. And I got concentration priority, just to get even more firearm crit damage. The reload time modifier doesn't really matter. Weak point damage, just to get even more weak point damage here. Have aiming, just to get even more weak point damage, again minus 20% accuracy, which doesn't really matter if you're using this gun also like for bosses and stuff, because they have like really big weak points. Then we got Etching Shot, which gives us a whole lot of firearm critical hit rate. We lose a lot of firearm attack also from this, but it doesn't really matter because our damage output just gets increased by a lot just having the crit hit rate from this. So if you have struggle like with the accuracy and recall from the weapon, put your FOV on max, so you have less recall in this game with your FOV being on 120. I don't know why, but it is that way. And even if you have problems, just get closer to your target and shoot. You will be completely fine. Against bosses you should have no problems, because the weak points are just that big. Here's also like real quick the damage if you want to see it. I don't know why, but on the Thunder Cage for some reason real life fighter doesn't stack in the laboratory. I don't know why, but I can show the real life fighter. But I will be showing you a boss kill in a second with the just the bunny bossing build with electricity, and I will be showing one boss kill with just a gun here in a second. I show you already the bunny bossing build right here at the usual test dummy, Devourer. Just run up to him. This is in hard mode also, just that you know. Activate my V. Get his chest streak to grapple him. Like you see already that gun damage, which is insane. Then I just run around a little bit. Get him once knocked, so I get a free stun on him. I shoot his leg here a little bit. You see how much damage it does? That's crazy, isn't it? Then I try to grab his chest once, if he looks at me, yep. Get him stunned again, holding onto it. Stunning him so he doesn't even phase. Reload my gun, activate my V again and shoot him. Now I can run around for the rest, and he's already dead. Yeah, and that's the bossing build right there. Alright, that's it already. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the build and you maybe try it out. See you on the next one. I will be doing a Glaive video the next couple days. Bye bye.